Lovelies, I never really thought that I would bring myself to making this video prior to this month being Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but here I am. And this is very difficult for me to make, so please bear with me. And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I never really opened up to my experience of A, because it was very painful for me to talk about it, but I've decided that today that I would break my silence on it. With that being said, trigger warning, it's gonna get very graphic and very, very painful. So if I started to tear up, please bear with me. If this makes you uncomfortable, please keep scrolling. When I was 5 years old, I was sexually assaulted by my second oldest sister. I never mentioned my second oldest sister to anybody, especially those who I'm close with, due to it and everything else, but I'm not gonna get into that. Not only it happened when nobody was around, this happened when everyone was around and was asleep. And by everybody, I mean my oldest sister, my youngest brother, and my late mother. So the first time it happened is when nobody was around. I was just minding my own business, playing with my toys and reading my book and all that stuff, while my second oldest sister was making something, some sweetened dessert or something, all while watching something that is inappropriate, knowing that I wouldn't watch it. And then half hour later, my sister called me to the living room, and she proceeded to lock eyes with me for about 2 to 3 minutes before telling me to come over here and telling me to lay down. I honestly thought that I was in trouble for something, but it gets worse. So she told me to lay down. I proceeded to do so, and next thing I know, she was on top of me, grinding up and thrusting up against me repeatedly. Not only that, but she pinned me down in the process so I wouldn't escape. And afterwards, I've never felt very uncomfortable and very scarred in my life like I was back then. And this wasn't the only time that happened. When everyone was around and was asleep, I was asleep as well. Me and my second oldest sister share a bedroom, while my oldest sister and my youngest brother shared another room. So when I was halfway asleep for like an hour and a half, my sister started to get on top of me and started to thrust up against me. I even tried to move so I can get out of there, but she wouldn't let me. I even started to cry while everybody was asleep. While she was done, she plopped back down to her side of the bed like nothing happened. I told her I was scared. She even apologized, but she knew she wasn't sorry. And it's very painful knowing that this happened more than once. And unfortunately, she wasn't the only family member. Fast forward to 20 years old, I was groped by my stepfather. It happened the week after the 4th of July, on a Tuesday too. And this happened when me and my late mother first got here to Iowa. So I was peacefully sleeping when I felt something was touching me, when I felt something was caressing me, was touching and grabbing my butt. I immediately jumped up. And behold, I saw my stepfather walking out of my room. I'm not even gonna lie, I was scared and I was traumatized by it too. And then he came back 15 minutes later talking about, as soon as your little brother leaves, I'm gonna tell you a secret. And I got really, really petrified. I'm sorry, y'all. Then later on that night, when my late mother came home from work, she started cooking, and I told her what happened this morning. Not only she was shocked, she was very pissed, not only at my stepfather, but at me for not telling her sooner. But it was only because she was so in love with him that I fear as though she wouldn't believe me. But I'm glad I did. And I'm glad to have a mother who believed me. And I'm saying this because I have seen videos and I have heard stories on how mothers believe their husbands over their own children when their children comes up to them and opens up about them being sexually assaulted by their husbands. And honestly, that really breaks my heart. Not only she reacted the way she reacted, but she took action on it and threw him out of the house, which I'm grateful for, but at the same time a little disappointed because I still felt as though justice wasn't served. I decided now is the time to share my story about my experience of sexual assault, to not only raise awareness, but to let other victims and survivors of SA, regardless of gender, that they're not alone. Also, me sharing this story lets everyone that is watching this know that women can be assaulters too. It's not just men, and it's not all women, but a specific category of women. They can be assaulters too, just like men. The main problem is they haven't been given the same energy as male assaulters. Like, regardless of gender, assaulters are assaulters. That being said, to those who are victims and survivors of SA, I hope my story helps you. I hope that you are not alone.